Yep, it's gone live. Hello, welcome back to Ones of the Force, the Star Wars podcast. I'm Phil, of course, and I'm joined as usual by Dave, and absent as is usual tradition. Good evening, Dave. Are you ready to talk some Star Wars without our usual compatriot?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm ready. George has been held up, unfortunately, by buying stupid train tickets in London. So yes, he won't be joining us. He might get on later, we're not sure. But certainly, we are here to talk pretty much solo because we're really ramping up to release now. We are
already 2 weeks away.
So that's really the main emphasis of most of what we'll be talking about tonight. But yeah, I'm ready to go.
Indeed, yes, it was only 2 weeks away. Literally 2 weeks tonight. Dave and I will be going to the midnight screening. George will not, and we're actually going to talk about the signing of the screens a little bit later. First of all, though, we're going to report on something that we kind of spoke about last time, which was the Alden Ehrenreich contract 3-film bit that had been released. Ron Howard's come out saying there's no concrete plans for a Solo sequel, and for the moment, I don't think there will be until they see how Solo is received. I mean, at the moment, I don't see it happening. I don't think they will. I know, as George said, it's one of those things with Marvel. They can just bring him in, for example, with a TV show, or just a spot here, or just to go over some things for the DVD or something. But I don't think there will be a Solo sequel unless Solo does well. I mean, I don't know what you think, Dave.
I think it's very much based on that. I mean, Howard himself came out and said, look, it's very much dependent on what this movie does. If this movie bombs, it may well not. That might be the last we see of the Solo universe that we're going to be getting. If this plays well, maybe they could push another story inside of the time frame, probably pushing it a bit closer. It really depends on how close we get to A New Hope by the time this film finishes. And that's the only thing I've really thought about, is if this gets too close, then it might be pretty difficult to then shoehorn another film in. But yeah, I mean, good news. I mean, it's always more Star Wars. And in 2 weeks' time, we'll know if it's good Star Wars that we're continuing on with, or if we're going to talk about a movie that we aren't impressed with. So it's kind of interesting times to be this close out and for these things to be going on. And I'm still up in the air of what we're going to see.
Yeah, you're not the only one. I've still other friends of mine who I've been chatting with, and their hopes are low. And I offered a friend of mine the chance to come with me to the midnight screening, and he turned it down because he still wasn't that hyped for it. And this is Robbins, but we've had him on the show before, so you know he's a big Star Wars fan. He's like, I can't really be bothered with the midnight screening. I'm not that hyped for it. So to talk about the ticket sales, though, at the moment it's tracking well in the US. Now, we'll see the US is going on for 170 mil over a 4-day weekend.
Yeah, so it's tracking. It's so far in the US, it's said it's the second biggest pre-sale behind Black Panther, which makes it sound like it's gonna have this incredible opening. But maybe the US will get that. 170 million is a lot higher than I would have projected for this movie to kind of come out with, and even in a 4-day weekend, probably break towards 80 to 100 mil without a problem, because it's Star Wars and you're going to get those people who are going to watch it no matter what. But 170 seems really high for me.
Especially considering what you and I were discussing just before we came on air. Now, Dave and I, as we've just said, we've got midnight screenings booked, and it was an interesting comparison. A friend of mine booked his ticket to come with us yesterday, and I checked the Odeon app, which I'm using because I'm going down to the Odeon in Southampton, the IMAX. Say hello if you're there. And the screen showed, apart from the seat he booked, the exact same amount of seats booked that when I booked mine. I've just checked the 2D and 3D viewings. 3D had 3 seats sold. 2D had 6. That's including the Odeon premieres and everything else. That's the total. It's really not selling well here from what we can see. I mean, Dave, yours was also quite barren.
Yeah, I mean, I booked my friend and myself 2 tickets for the midnight showing and got tickets no bother. I think they came on live about, we're actually talking about it, literally they were up live about 10:30 later on May the 4th they came up.
For View they're on earlier, but for Odeon, yes, they're on about 10:30 in the morning.
It came on quite late, so got those without any issues. Now, compare that to my Force Awakens experience and Last Jedi, when the websites just crashed and it was really hard to get a hold of tickets. Getting seats together was tough. This is not an issue. I've just checked now as well. Before we came on, Phil and I just want to compare our audience screens and see how many were sold. and there must be no more than 30 seats gone in the Odeon I'm going to for midnight as well. And this is, I mean, it's it's an IMAX screen. It's not massive, but it's a full recliner seat screen. So every seat in the auditorium is a recliner. So it's a really nice screen as well for people to experience the movie in. And for that to still be this barren at this time, 2 weeks away, it's obviously not drawing what they would expect in the UK. Whether you will get the then sales as you normally get with cinemas, sort of the week before people send to beat their cinemas, whether that'll happen, it'll build up, or maybe on the night they'll get a lot of walk-ins. I don't know. It seems a bit dire to me.
Yeah, it's a very strange one. So I booked mine as soon as I could, got them done. Told my friend yesterday, he had a look, and the exact same amount of seats came up. And it's very strange how, I mean, don't get me wrong, companies are going to fluff it up anyway. They're going to go, oh yes, it's tracking well, it's going to do well. Yeah, they have to, but we will see. I mean, I think it depends after day one what the reviews are when it comes in. I mean, yes, some people wait for the critics review, and that's on the 15th. The embargo lifts, isn't it? So next week.
I believe it's 10th for social media. So I think tomorrow is social media day, 10th or 12th, and then it is definitely 15th for print review as well. So I guess I don't know if we've got this covered. Have we got this covered later on in the news? I don't know if it was.
No, we haven't. No,
so we'll talk about it now. Yeah. So the fact they're releasing the embargo this early, like 10 days before the film goes out for reviews to be able to come out, one fills me with hope, and the other side fills me with dread. Having to avoid spoilers for the best part of a week and a half is tough, especially because it'll be everywhere. So if you're out there and it's going to come out, block what you can on Twitter. I know you can certainly block out words and phrases you don't want to see. So definitely go ahead with that. But if they're releasing the reviews now, they've got to have something they're quite proud of. I can't see why you would release it that soon before a movie to give it a week and a half for people to not go.
There's two reasons. One is they're that proud of it. Two, they need to get bums in seats.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
And that would be why you release it that early, especially if they can see how well it is actually tracking. Don't get it wrong. We're going to see it because we're Star Wars fans. And I have to admit, watching the Becoming Solo featurette, which, again, is not actually in our news, so we'll talk about that in a second. After I watched that, the actual visuals of some of the shots in that just got me so excited. The way it's been filmed, the way that they've used a lot of practical lighting effects in terms of one bit which looks like Castle, where they've literally got everything lit through flying dust and debris, looks incredible. I mean, they've done a good job with the way it looks. With the 360 video they brought out, Lando just looks awesome. It sounds awesome. It's just Lando. I am more hyped for it now than I was, but there's still that little bit of trepidation. I think that little bit of trepidation is what's stopping people kind of booking that screening.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Lando is what's going to sell this movie. Everything you've seen about him. Donald Glover is the big draw for this movie. He hosted Saturday Night Live on the weekend just gone. Had a lovely sketch of doing solo in that as well.
Sorry, mate, I've got work calling.
Okay, so no, I'll talk. Go. So Donald Glover seems to be the main pull of this, and it's just a strange one that there is going to be a midnight screening that I could walk into now with nearly every seat available. Good seats in the house as well, not like little seats to the side or single seats. I don't know what to make of it. Like Phil just said, the featurettes that are coming out, they're actually making this more appealing, and not to the point where it's like, this is a must-see movie for me. Phil's right. I am the captive audience for this. Phil is the captive audience for this. George is kind of the captive audience for this. He'll go. We'll make him. But it's crazy that it's not going to sell like it has. Rogue One sold really well as going into being the first spin-off. And I don't know if it's because it's solo that this is then not tracking as well. A solo movie without Harrison Ford. And some people might not buy the actor. I've got a good friend at work, Steve, who I know is very much not bothered about seeing this movie, and he's asking me, after you see it, tell me what it's like, and I might go see it. And I've never had that with a Star Wars movie before. Whenever there's been a Star Wars movie on release, people have wanted to get to that movie, to see that movie, especially the fans. And that's what's surprising to me, that this is not had a big uptake on the fans. And maybe Phil's right in that they're releasing the embargo on reviews early. So if they do have this, what people have thought is a great movie, then yeah, they can put that out there, say, look, this is a 4-star movie. Hopefully, please be a 4-star movie. Don't be 3 downwards and you're kind of like, oh, okay, we'll see it, but what can I do? But if it's a 4-star movie, like let's say a magazine like Empire comes in and gives us a 4-star review, that is going to draw people in, and not just your Star Wars fans, but you're going to get your average Joe who just wants to go see a good movie, who will come in and see this because it's had a good review, gets good write-ups in the papers. Then that's the kind of publicity you want. I just really hope that it's not negative. If it is, this film could die within weeks. The IMAX especially, because Solo's going IMAX. Now, IMAX obviously works. The biggest movies go on IMAX. So at the minute, Avengers, since the day it came out, is on IMAX. Deadpool is out this Friday, or certainly by next week. Deadpool is out. That Deadpool 2, will jump into IMAX cinemas. And then Solo jumps into IMAX cinemas. And I worry that if this isn't a big enough pull, it'll take nothing for them to think, well, you know what, we can get way more money on Deadpool 2 being back in IMAX, and we'll just move Solo to regular 3D or regular 2D screens. I would recommend seeing this in 2D as well as 3D. Don't get us wrong. I'll probably see this twice just so I can see what it's like. I know for me, Last Jedi had a massive difference in appeal when I watched it in 2D to 3D. Hey, Phil, you all right, sir?
Yes, back now. Sorry about that.
I was just, no problem at all. Just filling. I was just discussing really that what I was talking about there is the IMAX, that we've got Avengers that's been in IMAX now since it came out. Deadpool 2 comes out this week or next, and that'll go straight into IMAX.
That comes out Monday, it's on the 15th.
Monday, so that's going to hit IMAX straight away. Then that's going to be in IMAX till Solo comes out. And what I'm fearing is that if Solo doesn't pull the audience that it should, or they would hope it would, they'll drop that out of IMAX screens and put Deadpool 2 back in there without a second thought, because they could bring in more money. And that's when I fear that if they withdraw things early and just drop it into a 2D screening, that it could really hurt the movie. I was just saying as well that I'm really hoping that when the reviews come out, we're going to see something like Empire, like a 4-star review at 3 down, and you start to think, oh, maybe people won't get in, and it won't pull in those other people who would normally just have a walk.
Yeah, it's going to need a good review. And also, yeah, agreed on the IMAX. I must admit, I've only seen Avengers in 2D. Just purely from what screens I've been able to get to when I've been able to see it. And as you were saying, interestingly though, from Last Jedi, you preferred it in 2D over IMAX. Yeah. That's just a matter of personal opinion. I do wonder if they'll do it, but I think it really depends on week 1 reviews from the public, let alone because the press reviews. I don't know if I've really seen a negative press review for a large film for a while. I mean, there's some films they've panned that have been turned out to be absolute masterpieces, and some they've loved that have turned out to be, well, less than. So it depends on where this lands. I'm hoping, of course, that it lands on the better side of things. But we shall see. I hope they don't pull it, and I hope that the public and the press reviews pull people in, but we shall see. So yes, where did we get up to in terms of our news then?
Literally up to talking in the pre-sales. Well, I literally hadn't moved on any further. I just kind of rambled around that point.
Fair enough. So yeah, we've done the thing is that it says number 2 pre-sales in the first 24 hours of the year so far. That's got to be for US only though. I mean, I don't think it's done that well in the UK. Globally, maybe. I mean, they haven't released it in China either. China for Avengers will be amazing. For Solo, because of what happened with The Last Jedi, I don't think it will be. I think China's more of a bus market for Star Wars. I don't think they quite grasp it as much as we do, but we shall see. But the interesting thing is, though, talking about China, it's going to open on May 25th in China. The Chinese post has been revealed, so they've obviously got faith that the audience will see it, but of course it's not being called Star Wars, though. It's called Ranger Solo. They changed the title around. I think it's a clever ploy to try and get more people in, but I don't know. What's your thoughts on that one?
Well, unless they're expecting to turn into a giant robot with the movie and destroy half of Tokyo, they may be disappointed with Ranger Solo. It does seem strange that Star Wars has so little appeal to the Chinese market. And it's really an Asian market that people are really trying for now. Obviously, with Last Jedi and Force Awakens, they took massive
Force Awakens. They
releases.
had
the stars over there.
The troopers on the Great Wall of China, didn't they? And they done a lot of promo over there.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to push it, but maybe it's just not worth it for this sort of movie. For the amount of budget they'd have to spend on doing that kind of publicity stunt, it's probably not going to be worth.
Well, they haven't done the publicity this time around compared to last time where they took it out of cinemas in a week.
Yeah. So it says everything it needs to. But I mean, it's good. I mean, Chinese opening early will guarantee some more sales. But yeah, I'm really hopeful for the movie, but it might not be the Star. It might be the Star Wars movie that makes the least money.
Indeed. But we all know it can't do worse than Attack of the Clones, so at least there's that. Talk it though, we've had more TV spots and more clips, as is the norm. We waited so long for a couple of trailers, and then we get a few weeks away from the film, and they just bombard you with clips and TV spots. The TV spots is the interesting part, purely because of the American audience. Now, if you don't really know much about American television, their advert system works a bit different from ours. Our TV shows start on the hour, and they run for about 10, 15 minutes, 12 minutes maybe, have a 2-minute break, then you're into the next 13 minutes, 2-minute break, 13 minutes, 2-minute break, 13 minutes, 2-minute break, next program. Whereas the US, they actually run the end of their program into the beginning of another program, then they have an advert break, then they run the next part, advert break, next part, advert break, then it's literally credits, next TV show. So the way that they run their shows is a little different. They have more advert breaks because they believe their attention span isn't that long. If anyone watches American sports like me, you know the horrific amount of advert breaks they have. I mean, I love American football, I love the NBA, but even I get bored sometimes with the amount of adverts they have. So that's why they put so many in, because they have different lengths. They're from 10 seconds to 45 to a minute and a half. You have different styles, you have different types, different audiences. That's why you get so many of these clips released, with a lot of them being very similar. It just ends up putting too much out there, but I understand why, purely because of more of the American audience. We'll over here, I don't really watch television that much, but you won't get a huge amount of adverts compared to, again, the US market. I don't really know. Nothing's about it for that one. Is it, Dave? Whether you've got any ads on that one?
No, I mean, the ads that have come out have, a lot of them, you say, have been very much of a similar nature. There hasn't been a lot given out extra, little tiny bits and pieces. There's one that came out today with some guy in a black mask with a knife, a sword type thing. And I've tried to pause and have a look at it, but I still can't figure out what it is or who it is. It's been great. I mean, some of the things that you've seen, some of the lines with Chewie, and it makes it look like this really great little film that's coming out. And this is one where, certainly with The Last Jedi, when it got to a certain point, I stopped watching. I didn't see any of the TV spots. I saw the main trailer, and that was me done. This one, I'm kind of taking in everything that's coming out as I catch it. And I haven't seen them all, certainly. But if I'm on YouTube and I see one, I'll watch that through.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of with it being a Han Solo story, we kind of know our main protagonist not in danger of not making it through the movie. And it's more just about that relationship, that building of the Chewie Han Lando relationship, I think, is where this movie is really going to focus. And they're certainly showing that in the trailers that we've seen, the TV spots. I'm actually really enjoying the ones I've seen. And again, like we harped back to earlier, it's made me really keen to see the movie. But on a really okay, I'll see it, but please don't disappoint me. Oh.
Indeed. Although, to be fair, I haven't watched this featurette through yet, because I'm waiting until after the film. And one of the cool features they've done is the tour of the Falcon with Donald Glover. Have you seen this?
I have watched that. And look, let's not put too fine a point of it. As I said as well, Phil was away. Donald Glover is a selling point in this movie. He is massive. I don't know if you've seen, if it probably has, it dropped a couple of days ago, his new music video for his, I can't remember its name.
The Childish Gambino, This
Childish Gambino, yeah, This is America, which is just this, I can only put it down as an art piece. I mean, it literally...
It's a social commentary piece, yeah.
Yeah, it is incredible. If you haven't a chance to watch it, go watch it.
I've watched the clip. It's not my type of music, so I've really... I didn't click with it. But...
As I say, Donald Glover is a massive selling piece for this movie. The fact they have him in there and are putting him out in all these places, they're absolutely wise to, because his audience capture is huge. From his early days right through to the stuff he's doing now. It's he's a really major part. But getting back to what you said, the Two of the Falcons really cool. It is just Donald Glover walking you around the set, basically, telling you where his favorite parts are, going through into his wardrobe or his where all his capes are hanging up.
Yeah.
It's a really nice touch. So they're really getting to show you.
The one thing I'm hoping, I haven't watched the featurette, so I can't comment yet. But one thing I'm hoping is that in his wardrobe somewhere you see his white shirt and leather vest, so that when it comes to Empire, that scene makes a lot more sense.
It just has that.
It makes no sense at all.
I don't know if you've seen on the TV spot, just jumping back to the TV spot, you've seen the TV spot where Woody Harrelson's character is sitting with Chewie at the hollow chess table.
I've only briefly seen that. I haven't watched it.
It's actually one of my favourite moments, and it's not a spoiler, but he's sitting there. He's obviously beating Chewie, so Chewie gets his arm and thrashes it across the table and just looks at him.
It's the hologram.
It's the holograms, yeah. I hope his arms are coming out of his sockets after that. That's what's
let the Wookiee win.
Next. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so the featurettes have been great. I say that making of like the that you mentioned earlier was a really nice piece because we've got a lot of behind the scenes stuff that I'm guessing we'll see a lot more of once the Blu-ray becomes available. That will get big. There's going to be huge meetings on this. There has to be, and nothing obviously mentioning previous stuff that's gone on. But yeah, so looking forward to the tour. Is great.
Indeed, I mean that's just all of the. I think it's all the solo news we actually have this season. Just a minute. So moving on from that though, for episode 9 news, not that far away from them starting shooting. That's July somewhere. And there's a rumor going around. They're looking for an 18 to 26-year-old African American woman, I think it is, for a leading role. Now, George pulled this rumor off, but I don't know where from.
No, I hadn't seen it, to be honest, until I looked at our schedule. But I know that, of course, it's going to be the way the world works at the minute and a focus, and I'm not saying it's a bad way, but very much female-orientated. Let's get a powerful female up front there. Obviously, we've got no idea of what kind of role it's going to be. No one really, because of the way Rian Johnson did what he did with The Last Jedi, I have no idea where they're going to take episode 9. Not a single clue in my head of where they'll go next. And in one way, that's kind of like, oh, okay. And in some ways, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Why not get us on the edge of our seats wondering how on earth?
I think that's what they need to do. Only because there's only so much time you can be nostalgic, and there's sometimes you have to push forward. You have to create a new narrative, a new story with all these brand new characters. It does get to a point where there's only so much nostalgia. There's only so much looking back. And even as Yoda said, it's too much looking around, not concentrating on what's right in front of you. We need to stop looking behind us and through rose-tinted goggles at the original trilogy and look forward to what we've been provided so far. And yes, Phasma has been a bust, but 8 was a good film. And Rogue One for us was the nostalgia kick that we all wanted it to be. Solo is both nostalgia and new, and that's exciting to me. Absolutely.
Rogue One, you're right, is that perfect blend and is still in my top 3 Star Wars movies. Yes, it's on number 3, but it's there, and I will watch that at the minute more than I've watched most of the other Star Wars movies. I watched New Hope on May the 4th, but I've watched Rogue One since it came out repeatedly. Every few weeks I've watched Rogue One. And it's, for me, it is a perfect little, that should have been episode 3. It's episode 3.5 in any way you say or shape or form. It should not have been a Star Wars story. That should have been in the saga. It really should have.
Yeah.
Darth
Vader's in it. It's part of the Skywalker saga.
I absolutely adore it. Where Solo's going to fit in, you're right. It has some nostalgia, but because it's Harrison Ford, it loses some of that nostalgia. You're looking at a brand new character. So really the only person you're looking at who's even going to look similar is Chewie.
Yeah.
Because it's Chewie, but even then they've changed the band later just to be a bit fashionable. So it's great. It's coming, and it's, as I've said loads of times, it's a good time to be a Star Wars fan at the minute. We went through such a long period where we were getting nothing, and now, yes, it's all coming at once, and we're getting it. Enjoy it while it lasts, because who knows at what point they'll go, we've had maybe a few too many Star Wars films. Let's have a break for a little while.
Yeah.
But going back
And
to
guaranteed, when that break
leading...
comes around, you will be missing the oversaturation of Star Wars. Guaranteed.
Yeah, I know.
We all do. I mean, don't get me wrong. We may moan about Solo. That's almost a given. We moaned about Last Jedi without knowing we were going to. But we have this brilliant 1.5-year break between Solo and 9. I think that's the key here. It's going to be a good, almost a reset button there. But yeah, going back to 9, as I said, you need to push forward with these new characters. Rey is a really, really strong character. I think out of the 3 main leads, I think she has the most drive and the most interest behind it because they focus more on her story. I want to see them do more with Poe, and there's the Poe comics. If you want to look more into that, along with like some of the books like Cobalt Squadron. So you do have that. You have Finn, who is almost an unknown entity. You only really have him featured both in Episode 7, Episode 8, and Poe Dameron issue number 26, which is set immediately after Last Jedi. It's the only comic thus far that's set post Episode 8 and shows you immediately what happens afterwards. So you have some bits there, but again, he's an unknown quantity. I'm very much looking forward to seeing where they take these characters, what they do with them, where they select the future. You have Resistance, you have all this stuff looking forward, and that's what we need. So yes, Rian Johnson had to make a very bold choice, but someone had to do it. And no matter who did it, they were going to get slated for it. You could have had Lucas doing it, and Lucas would have been slated for it. You could have had anyone do it, and it just took a lot to just do it. So interesting to see where it goes. So yes, if you see any casting about, go for it. Pozu, they've announced a Luke Skywalker Episode 8 boot. I've seen that. I don't like the price. It's £225 sterling. If you've got the money, go for it. I like the boots, but not for that price.
Again, this is Star Wars label being slapped on something and the price rocketing up. And it's their shoes, and they'd probably work really well if you're maybe a cosplayer of old Luke.
Yeah.
And that's great that they are so similar to the design of the actual costume. Marvelous. But to retail these at £225 for some boots is just... That's insane. I'm aware of Converse like pretty much exclusively. And even then, I
wear
like £50 for those.
Yeah. I wear Nike Air. I know the pain, but
yeah, it's just
you like eBay those.
I wear canvas shoes, and they cost me. I'm like £55. Come on.
Yeah, I eBay that. Let's do that. I'm not paying £70 quid for a pair of shoes.
Yeah,
so paying £225, even though they're Luke's, I will not pay that price. His autograph is cheaper.
That is insane. His autograph was cheaper, not anymore. You couldn't do that now.
Yeah, true. It was £135 when I got mine.
Yeah, that's just... I'm so good I didn't go and get mine on that day and bought other stuff instead. But yes,
I mean, meet Carrie Fisher, so yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, again, going back to the cinema though, Infinity War has been obliterating records from Star Wars, taking a few from them, and there's no wonder. I've seen the film twice. It is fantastic.
I went and saw it. Yeah, I saw it last on Monday night. Sorry, the bank holiday here in the UK. So I saw it Monday night again, and took my sister, who literally hadn't seen about 4 of the last Marvel movies, so she binged them over the bank holiday weekend, and sat watching hers towards the end of the movie, watching what was going to happen, and her reaction is credits, and her look of this.
Yeah, I took my other half to see it on Saturday, and she knows what a massive Spider-Man fan I am.
Spoilers.
But no, that's, to be fair though, we're on a Star Wars podcast, so
yes, that's fine. Spoil Avengers all we like. But yeah, I mean, to
be fair, our chat for a brief 2 or 3 days was turned into a Marvel chat.
Absolutely, it had to happen. It's great. It's
a
universe being built so well. It means a lot to us who've been with it for the 10 years and 18 movies.
It beats Star Wars out to be the fastest film to $1 billion by 1 day. Yeah,
don't get us wrong. I'm a little bit beating the Star Wars record, but if it's going to go, let it go to this movie. It's a great piece of cinema. It really is. If you haven't seen Avengers yet, what are you doing watching us? Go watch Avengers. It's awesome.
But then come back and watch us.
Yeah, come back and watch us again. We'll bore you for a long time, I promise. way longer than Avengers will.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's smashing records. I thought from the moment it was announced when it was coming out, it was going to make all the money. There was never a doubt that it was going to take a massive, massive amount, especially over this time when there's not a lot else out there to see, to be totally honest. It's going against nothing, because who would put their movie out against this? I certainly was.
Not
a studio
even
want to
Disney.
go, yeah, let's stay away from Avengers. Let's keep as clear as we can. And it's paid off a zillion times. Disney are sitting in Scrooge McDuck size money vaults that they all swim in right now. Bob Iger doing backstroke, blowing coins out of his beak. All that's happening. But Star Wars is still up there. Look, the top movies now that you see, in the top all-time movies, you've got Avengers, you've got Star Wars, you've got Black Panther. It's Star Wars some more. And the top grossing movies of all time are just geeky awesomeness.
Yeah, it's Star Wars, Marvel, and Jurassic Park. That's your top three in terms of just the entire top 10 list is taken up with Marvel and Star Wars, with Jurassic World being a interloper in there.
Yeah, it's a great time to be alive. It really is.
It is. For those of us who grew up in the shadows, who grew up as an outsider, as a geek, to then go, it's now, this is my culture, and this is. Okay, I don't have to hide. This is who I am. It's good. And don't get me wrong, you then have people who are like, oh, I've been a fan for years ago. Really? Really? When you were kind of picking on us for being who we were, you really were a fan? Okay. All right, I believe you. So yeah, it's a good time to be alive. It's a good time to be a geek. And as is tradition, Lucas congratulated them with a poster. I must say my favourite one was the one with Kylo Ren and the Infinity Gauntlet. That was pretty cool. So there's a few things that went across. The official one was Rey handing the lightsaber off to Iron Man. She really wants to get rid of that lightsaber. Does not want to stick around.
Nobody wants it. Nobody wants that lightsaber. It was a nice. I really liked the official one that Kathleen Kennedy put out for the Disney passing of the torch. Here's you're on top now. This is for you.
Yeah.
It's happened for so long back now. I believe there's Spielberg sent one to Lucas when Star Wars came out and took Jaws.
Yeah, and then
off the top
Lucas
spot.
sent one back for E.T.
It's been an ongoing thing for a long time, but it's a nice touch to send those between. Obviously, it's all Disney, so it's just Disney people sending each other cards, which is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a massive time for this. Is in terms of blockbusters, doesn't get much bigger. So hats off, really. It's earned its money.
Indeed. And then talking of posters, you spotted the IMAX posters now.
Yeah, it dropped. Well, I was on Twitter and Ron Howard said, I want to just show you the IMAX poster, and it's okay. It's all right. I expected a bit more. It's again got the shadow of the Millennium Falcon in the background.
It goes with a lot. It's not a new one as such. It goes with the theme they've been doing.
Yeah, it's got a lot of take from previous posters, like the posters, the characters in the poster. Solo certainly is taken from all the other artwork they've got, and they've just sort of melded these together with the Falcon again playing a big part.
Yeah, it's sort of being the names. It's the same beige background with color coming through from the letters, but now it's the Falcon silhouette. So it's that kind of in the same vein, which makes sense. It is a marketing theme. You do get themes, as it were. You do get kind of these veins in that vein. It does look cool. It's just, it's not as big a punch as you kind of hope. At the same time, that you can see how and why they've done that. And hopefully I'll be getting my IMAX poster and go and see it. I do look forward to that. And that's the end of the news for this evening. George, better hurry up from London. So we're going to go on to the toy shelf. We've got some Black Series figures finally kind of creepy out. Admiral Piet and a new Stormtrooper have been announced. I haven't seen the Piet, but I have seen the Stormtrooper. I was going to put it in the chat earlier. It comes with blast effects and little stand. It looks quite cool. Have you seen the Piet? Yeah,
the Piet is superb, and solely because now they've got this digital paint application, the likenesses of the characters become so much more like their movie counterpart. They're going to get the Black Series are going to get better and better. I've just ordered Tarkin.
I do want Tarkin. The thing is, when I got Piet, I want Tarkin and Piet to go with my Vader, my throne. Have the ultimate Imperial collection.
Absolutely. One thing I do wish that they would be able to go back and just offer some of the heads out, done with the new paint, and just say £5, you can get a head to replace the one you've got, because I would love a Krennic done with this digital paint.
Yes.
Add to that, there's so much they could do, and they could literally go back to the line. And if you wanted, some people are never going to open those boxes, won't want them, but some people would really like those head replacements.
I would like
with
them
the new
if they
digital
did
paint scheme.
reissue Darth Maul with that digital paint. Can you imagine Darth Maul with that digital paint?
It would look incredible. And the Pieta, say, if you get a chance to see it, and what I'll do is after this, I'll try and get something up on our Facebook, because I've been a bit lax this week, but I'll get something up so you can have a look at it. It is really, really impressive, the work they're doing. The Stormtrooper Phil posted up today on our chat, and that's really cool. The Stormtrooper with the blast mark on his helmet, a blast mark on his the chest armor, and then you get some actual laser blasts, like one that looks like it's coming from the gun, and then two fiery explosion types. And you get, for the first time in any of the Black Series, you get a stand for the figure with Star Wars written on it.
Yeah.
Now, I've always wanted to display my Black Series, and I keep, people say, they'll just stand by themselves, but you knock anything that they're standing up on.
You do. There are third-party ones. I think that Hasbro finally clocked on to the fact that they need to release an official stand to go with. And again, like with the heads, we were literally just discussing, I reckon, do a pack of 5 for like 15 quid or something. You know, it'd be an outrageous price, but they could do a pack and go, here you go, buy your Black Series stands, and people would buy it. I know I would.
Yeah, that's certainly why mine aren't on display at the moment. So all I see when I go to my room is the red side of the boxes, and that's not really. I'd love to have them actually out on a shelf.
Well, mine are on display. The only ones that aren't actually out of their boxes is my Obi-Wan Kenobi, which was the SDCC version with the light up hologram graphic table, and again the SDCC Thrawn that I managed to put the con last year.
Yeah,
which I managed to then bend your arm. Didn't take much arm bending. I must have been
not even a little bit. Really, it was pretty straight. It was fine.
Yeah. So at that price, that's 50 quid. I'm like, yes, that's how it works with it all along. I shall quite happily pay this. You're coming with me.
Really. And the Black Series, I say, they're just going to get better. This digital paint thing is an absolute revelation for not just for Star Wars, but if this is going out to other lines, and why wouldn't you want this?
True. I got the first one, which was the Captain Rex, which again I picked up for you when I was there.
Yeah.
The pre-release version. And the paintwork on that is stunning. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've kept my helmet on because that's how I always see Rex. I've got him with the twin pistols out because, to me, that's how I view Rex, with that cool helmet with the twin pistols. But even underneath that, the way they've done the painting on the head looks cool. The blonde hair, so it's kind of, they've melded the worlds of live action and the cartoon. It looks really cool. And that's just on one figure. You look at what they've got coming forward, and you can see now they really have realized they screwed up. They really have screwed up with the quality, because at the start it was this is a collector's series, and then they kind of let it slide, and they had the Black Series 3.75-inch, and then it kind of, the quality of along the board kind of dipped before they realized, hang on a second, the 6-inch really should be our premier line. The vintage line that is now replaced the 3.75-inch line, that's our premier for our intermediate, as it were, line. And then you have the premier for the 3.75-inch with intermediate in between all three, and then you've got the kids 3.75-inch. You've got the tacky buildable ones with all the extra bits and all. Don't get me wrong, they've released some cool little ones down the line. The very first figure I bought years was the Flame Trooper, the 3.75-inch Flame Trooper, and that came out for Force Awakens on Force Friday. I bought that, and that's one of my little private collection, just purely for the memory of that first Force Friday and that first Star Wars film in 10 years. And so I like that. And actually, that was a really nicely done figure, but the quality has declined over time. So now they really have organized it as the kids 3.75-inch line, so your regular Force 2.0 line. You've got your vintage line, which we're going to talk about in a minute, and then you've got your Black Series line. And the Black Series line, they have just knocked out the park. They really have. Now, the 3.75-inch vintage line, the Wave 2, I think, has been up pre-order now, along with what we're just about to talk about, which is the Collection Assault Tank. They also released, by the way, a video of the sail barge. We all went, it's really cool, but not £500 cool.
To be honest, I wouldn't even class it as. I'm just does not take my interest at all. I mean, where would you put that?
I have
nowhere I could think I'd display that. No, absolutely. There's just no way.
The thing is, I don't have to buy all the 3.75-inch vintage figures to go with it. In terms of I'd have to have an R2, a 3PO, I'd have to have Boba Fett. You'd have to have Lando in his Jabba's Palace outfit, which you could only really get in Frequency in 6-inch. So there's this, it would just be annoying me that you just get Jabba, Glacier Peak Run, and this barge. You go, okay, well, where the hell's the rest of them?
It's a strange one, but you're right. I mean, there is stuff coming out now that is just so much better. The tank that is coming out looks incredible. I mean, just the box artwork alone. So that is, I mean, the box. Sorry, I just jumped on there. The box artwork that is out there, it's done in the vintage collection style, and this appeared not very long in Rogue One, but it just looks amazing.
Oh yeah,
it really does.
They took it out of Rogue One and put it straight in Rebels, and it looked amazing. It just, yes, they had to put it in. And that the tank driver, of course, is the bit of armor that Lucas chose as well. It's that kind of.
It's nice that it's got that added touch to it as well. It really is.
So it's Lucas sticking his finger in, luckily, kind of going, I still care about Star Wars. He took the break for 7, but he's come back and gone, okay, I genuinely care. Which is good to see, but yes, so the tank is something that's cool. The price point, I don't think we got a price point.
I haven't seen it, to be honest, I've not seen it either. I've not, because it's not something I've been looking to order yet. It's certainly not something I've seen the price of.
If I get the room, I might order it just because it's that cool.
It looks incredible. All that, anything they put inside of vintage packaging, for me, is an almost must-have.
The Ray is finally been released. Yeah. The image Ray is finally released, and that's cool because it's an episode 8 Ray. So the original one, the very first image they teased, this new vintage line, was the episode 7 Ray. So you had the promo artwork of her looking away with the staff, and you had her in her Jakku scavenger outfit. This is her in her Jedi training outfit. And the actual packaging just looks really cool because the way they've got the vintage Kenner Star, so you've got Star Wars in silver, they've got The Last Jedi in red, which actually ties in really well to all the promo stuff they were doing before the film came out. So I really dig this packaging.
It's what I've always loved. It's packaging from that vintage era is how I still believe all Star Wars packaging should be done. It's so simple but so effective.
Yes,
it works so well, and that put this out.
Well, you know it works well when something from the 1970s is released now, and apart from the Kenner logo itself, still looks crisp and up to date. Yeah. That's how you know you've done something well. I mean, for example, I'm a car fan. I mean, I'm wearing an Aston Martin racing shirt, for example. You know, classic cars. Some of them still look good to this day. It's why they appreciate value. You know, you got a £20 million Ferrari or something. It's those things that you really realise that they nailed it then because it looks good now, and that vintage artwork is one of those things for Star Wars. I mean, yeah, we all grew up with our. I mean, when I was growing up, Power of the Force was the first figures I got my hands on. I have a little bit of a soft spot for that. In fact, when I was doing my own YouTube channel, you'll get up and running again at some point. I did some videos on that. I bought some in. I've got a sealed Leia and her Bosch outfit, which again we'll actually get onto again in games because we haven't put that in our news yet. Again, so I have a soft spot for that. However, the vintage packaging for me still gives me that nostalgic feeling. I know for you, yes, you are slightly older. So when you were growing up, those were shiny and new.
Yeah. I used to go to toy shops and that was literally shelves filled with vintage toys. If only I could go back for just 10 minutes now in a supermarket sweep style rush and get some of those packages. My word, that would be good.
Yeah, you would just go and get a load of doubles and be rich as hell. You know you would.
We've just had just want to say we just had a question online as well from Matt Harwood. Yeah. If you remember, Matt, he won the book when we had the prize giving out. Matt asked a question to how we buy our Black Series figures. Like Phil's just said, conventions have been really good to us, really kind, especially for things like Thrawn and the Rex. I use A1 Toys and Kapow.
Yeah, over here, A1 Toys and Kapow get the exclusives. I mean, when SDCC announced theirs, the three of us immediately go to there to see what has been released and when we could possibly get it, what the price point will be. Now, Forbidden Planet over here is a good way of getting them a little pricey, but unfortunately, that with the shutting down Toys R Us, it seems to be the only place you can really get them at the moment. You can find them discounted in supermarkets sometimes, but conventions are your friend when it comes to Black Series figures. I mean, I picked up my Darth Vader for like 15 quid. it's that kind of, you can really find some good deals. The Rex was released as an exclusive for the MCM October London Comic Con when I went last year, so I picked up one then, and I got yours there as well, Dave. Yeah, I mean, so conventions are your friend, but also toy stores will be your friend. But just look around, see what deals you can find. But yes, conventions. Car boot sales as well, and eBay. eBay, you have to be careful though. You really don't want to pick up a fake. There are ways to tell. There are websites where you can look at and they will give you all the things you can look for. If it says Star Wars, for example, don't pick it up. I usually go for the auctions, so you can then tell if they're being sold in bulk, if they're just being sold individually, if they're in the boxes or not. There are ways on eBay that you can find a good deal, but generally conventions, Food Planet, and looking discounted supermarkets.
Yeah, I mean, supermarkets have been very kind to me. I got a gin solo in Morrison's of all places.
Yes, I was extremely jealous about that. I wanted one. I can't find one down here. So if you see another one, pick it up from me and send it down.
So it is crazy, but it says certainly if you're online, A1 Toys seem to get more of the exclusives. Kapow Toys are really good for pre-orders, and they get a lot of the Black Series in, so they would certainly just go through. Like Phil says, eBay is tough. It's an awful world out there.
Where is Matt Howard based? Where is he from? Because I know you sent it out to him.
I did send a parcel out to him, and right now I can't remember could tell you where he is. He's down south.
Oh, so he's in the UK. That's fine.
To be honest, I'm in Newcastle, so everything's pretty much down south.
Yes, but I mean, he's in the UK, so it means our advice is valid. That's
absolutely.
That's the guy for a second. If our international buyers, in fact, if you're in America, Walmart and Target are your friends. That the GameStop will have some exclusives like the R5D4, the vintage line. Again, conventions are also your friend. Looking online, again, eBay, Amazon sometimes do have them, both Amazon.com and Amazon.co.uk. But yeah, Walmart and Target are your friends out there.
Walmart had the centerpiece sets a couple of weeks ago.
I want the centerpiece.
$5 in some Walmarts, like selling them off, just unreal. I have a friend who lives in Chicago, and I'm going to demand she goes to these places and looks for me. So I just say, please pick me some of these things up.
I have family out there. So I've been trying to get my hands on the Thrawn Alliances. I might get one of my family members to pre-order it, so I get it with Timothy's unsigned plaque. But anyway, so there you go, Mahal. There is your advice. I would say go to a local convention. I mean, there's plenty around. I went to Wrexham a couple weeks ago and so met Ezra, and George met Snap. I mean, that's cool, but also you can pick up some deals there. London MCM Comic Con, London Film and Comic Con. If you can get to London, those will be good for you. Some of the larger ones, you have Manchester, you have Birmingham, which is more the Midlands and the northern area. Newcastle, I think, has one, Dave.
We have little ones here and there. We don't have really a big one. We had one at the Newcastle Arena a few years ago, but there's nothing being really mentioned of it again. So we definitely need something up here a bit bigger, but we're a bit sparse up in the northeast.
So basically, check for a local convention, save up and go, because A, you'll have a good time, B, you'll meet some really awesome people. I mean, come on, the three of us met.
Awesome people you get stuck with forever once you've met them in a queue once. It was
exactly, crazy. And then as a look online, look at your local retailers, see what you can find. And then we're going to go, we might as well talk about Funko. They've announced some Empire Strikes Back mystery minis, which is passed to their little blind box sets, and I'm not fussed.
I quite like some of them. I have got one. It's an Obi-Wan Kenobi one, which is like an original trilogy Obi-Wan Kenobi, which I really like. But it's not something I've got because they're blind bags. That's the only thing. Some places like Forbidden Planet are quite good, whereas they will mark which figures inside them. Will normally open the bag and have a look, so they can actually tell you which figure you're going to get when you pick it up. And certainly some smaller toy retailers will just take them straight out of the box and sell them as the actual little bobblehead figure. But
which annoyingly, when they do that, sometimes they do bump the price up for the rarer ones.
Of course, yeah.
But that's unfortunately when it comes to anything that's collectible, not just in the geek world, in any world, when something is less produced than something else, with the rare, price will go up. That's just the way of things. You want something that no one else has got. That's just the way it is. And yes, that's that. I think that's it for Toy Shelf.
Yeah, as I say, we're at a point now where not a lot is happening because we are 2 weeks out from Solo.
Yeah.
Literally in 2 weeks and 3 hours or so, we will be sat.
Yeah, because when after Solo is dropped, we'll get the spoiler toys announced. The spoiler Lego sets more. I mean, Lego does tend to spoil things more than most companies do, but you'll get the other sets coming out. You'll get the Black Series. They'll announce certain characters. Hopefully, they do Beckett. I think they've announced. No, they haven't announced Beckett. Sorry. Hopefully, Ons do some of the Mud Trooper and stuff, because they haven't actually announced the generic Mud Trooper or the generic Mim Band Trooper. Something like those. There's some things coming out that you haven't even seen yet. Of course, we have everything Corellia and Kessel and Mimban. These planets that we haven't yet seen. So there's scope.
Lots of scope, yeah.
Exactly. So we'll see what comes out after that. So we'll go on to games now. We'll talk about the one thing you and I can both talk about first before I get onto my big spiel. I do a big spiel. And that is the update for Battlefront 2. Now, Star Wars Battlefront 2 has been a sticking point on this channel ever since it was announced. We had a lot of hype for it, and then they screwed it up. And they're continuing to screw it up. They've announced a new solo season, which we all knew was coming. We didn't want them to do. We want them to actually pull the fingers out their arse and do what we want. We want the Clone Wars customization. We want compatibility. We want what we want. They have released some promo for the upcoming solo season. You'll have Jabba's Palace, because that's the thing that we all wanted. They've released Leia's Bosch outfit, because that took them months and months of work to do that skin. And they finally, the one good thing, they finally put in the Starfighter custom in arcade, which they should have had from the beginning. So that's really not applaudable. That's well, finally, we've been waiting for that one. She should have done that to start. Babe,
yeah, it's a game to say I've walked away from after I've played it through the single player mode. I probably might jump back in with the Starfighter mode in arcade. Is something I think would be really cool, and looking forward to that. But you're right, the addition of skins to characters, it's not a bonus for me. That I say, like a skin they could probably, once they've got the character model down, an afternoon of coding is done. Jabba's Palace is all well and good. If I get chased around by a Rancor, that would be quite cool. But it's oh
yeah, if there was a game mode where you can literally be the Rancor, now that would be cool. That I would be down for. It's like in the old game where you had the like the hero assault, when it was literally one person is the hero and you get to go around being mental and everyone else suffered. If you could just be the Rancor, like it randomly drops, someone is the Rancor, right? You're the Rancor, go have fun. I would be well up for that. That'd be amazing. But no. So yeah, that is that. Now, I've got a big old spiel here, so I'm gonna let Dave sit and have a cup.
Sit back, relax a bit, yeah.
So over the weekend, for me, some big things happened. You had the Fantasy Flight Games Star Wars World Championships take place over the weekend, so May 2nd through May 6th. I knew a few friends were going out there, and I'll get onto that part later. On the very first day, on the Tuesday, they had a big odd announcement, which was X-Wing 2.0, so X-Wing 2nd Edition. Now, for those of you who don't know, I don't know how you won't know by this point, but I play Star Wars X-Wing Ventures. It's a great game, played on a 3-foot by 3-foot area. You both take control of squadrons from the Rebel Alliance, the Resistance, the Galactic Empire, the First Order, all from scum and villainy, so your bounty hunters and your smugglers. You can take control of characters you love, from Kylo Ren to Darth Vader through to Emperor Palpatine, with Boba Fett, IG-88, Bosk, Forlom. You've got Luke Skywalker, Poe Dameron, Rey, Finn. So you can basically play as any character you want from the Star Wars universe. It's a really cool game. But the game's is 6 years old now. It came out in 2012. And it's been lacking a lot recently. There's been too many things that have been what we deem broken, that's just too powerful, and they needed to change a few things. And they've done that with X-Wing 2nd Edition. Now, X-Wing 2nd Edition, they've separated some factions out into these. So they've split the Rebel Alliance into literally the Rebel Alliance and the Resistance. They changed the gameplay, they changed how turrets work, they've taken out some of the broken stuff, like harpoons, no more TLTs and twin laser turrets. So they basically fixed a lot of the issues we've had with the game. Now, they've also then compressed some of the pilot skills, changed some things. They've announced to come out in September 13th. They have announced the new X-Wing 2nd Edition core set. they've announced the conversion kits, which allow you to take your existing first edition things and make them compatible to make sure you don't lose out on anything. So all your promo cards, all your alternate arts, and all your pilots will now become null and void, and your upgrades become null and void. The ships are still valid, and they give you the new punch boards with this new medium-based ship. So you've got small, medium, and large now, so just small and large. They've given you the new punch board for that, the new cardboard tokens, they've given you new cards, so you can take that. So the first bit they've got is the Rebel Alliance, the Galactic Empire, and Scum and Villainy. In the second wave, then they'll have the Resistance and First Order. The upcoming Swords Rebels and the TIE Reaper are 1.0 and 2.0 compatible, so everything going forward will now be compatible for the new game. That's a big announcement just there, but yes, so that is your going forward. That's X-Wing coming in September 13th. Every tournament thus far going forward will be the last of its kind for first edition. They announced changes to the game, they announced changes to the tournament system and your store system and everything else, just to make the game that bit more involving. Now, again, over the weekend, you had the Star Wars World Championships. Now, part of the announcement then was also they're splitting the championship up. So we have the Star Wars World Championships. Legion will then take the place of X-Wing. They didn't have a Legion World Championship over the weekend because the game's only 3 months old. There was no point because, well, there's no qualifiers to the championship, no real players. They needed to build up the player base. But you had X-Wing Destiny, Imperial Assault, the Living Card game, and Armada. So you had your 5 systems. They're splitting it up, so then maybe we'll still have the Star Wars World Championships, but the X-Wing World Championships will now be in October. It'll just be its own event because it's so huge. Again, talking about the World Championships, I'm going to give you just a few stats going forward of what happened there. So you had, for Armada, you had Nathan Coder from the United States win. For Imperial Assault, you had Daniel Taylor winning it for the 3rd time in a row. For Destiny, you had Edwin Chen. Again, American, both those two. Javier Maldonado won Star Wars The Living Card Game. Again, he was American, but for the first time, a British winner was for Star Wars X-Wing, Simeon Delapina. I know he's Dan Rasta. Again, that was a cool moment for us. I stayed up watching the final. I stayed up watching the top few games. So I actually was at the cinema watching Avengers Infinity War at the half, and watching a friend of mine play in the top 32. So again, massive event. It drew over 128,000 streams, I think it was. Let me just double check, so I have all the information right in front of me, so there's no point guessing. At least I had it all anyway. So yes, so it had 218,723 Twitch views over those 6 days. You had 175 games of Armada, 421 games of Imperial Assault, 171 games of Star Wars Card Game, 1,068 games of Destiny, and 1,680 games of X-Wing. For those of you who know, it takes an hour and a quarter to play X-Wing, so that's a lot of games. It was a massive event. There's 105,000 prize tickets issued. And there's 943 unique players over 5 World Championships over 6 days with 22 different countries represented. It was a massive event. It just shows you that Star Wars universe really does pull people together. And if you haven't tried these out, I do urge you to have a go. I mean, it's got everything you want. And if you want a larger scale assault game, you've got Star Wars Legion. If you want a Armada style game where you've got large capital ships, you've got Star Wars Armada. If you want small ship skirmishes, you have X-Wing. If you want card games, you've got Destiny and you've got the Living Card Game. You have so much scope just for Star Wars. And yes, that is our announcements for over the weekend. We had, again, British World Champion for X-Wing, X-Wing 2.0, a lot of new champions, world champions were crowned, and a 3rd time in a row. Well done to Daniel there.
Awesome stuff, my friend. Awesome stuff. It's not something I've got into. It's something I've looked at and tried occasionally. And I do actually love some of the models that come with the ships. Of the actual game, some of the ships look incredible. The work people do on those. There's a Sabine TIE Fighter that came out for...
Yes, for X-Wing, yes.
Yeah, it is absolutely beautiful.
TIE Fighter, it's a beautiful thing. Personally, I repaint my ships, I must admit, but yes, I haven't repainted my Sabine's TIE because it's so pretty.
Yeah, so that, I mean, it is great. It brings a lot of Star Wars fans together. And maybe people who don't often get to big events, like conventions, things like that. It is nice to have something where you go and you immerse yourself in the world of Star Wars, which is what we love to talk about anyway. And it's nice you get to actually immerse yourself in that world in this way as well.
I mean, my personal list I've been running recently has been Asajj Ventress and Ketsunyo in Shadowcaster. I'm running 2 Shadowcasters. I love that ship from Rebels. I thought it was one of the coolest designs I've ever seen. I love Ketsu, I love the Mandalorians, and Asajj Ventress is my favorite characters from Clone Wars. So I'm started running 2 of my favorite characters on one of my favorite ships, and it's brilliant. I mean, a friend of mine, Phil GC, who runs Fire Sprays almost exclusively, and he does Boba Fett, and you've got someone there who goes, all right, we'll have Asajj Ventress versus Boba Fett, and you just do it, and it is this really cool kind of vibe. I mean, Rey and Finn work well together. You've got the Ghost with Hera and Kanan and Chopper and Ezra, and yeah, it is just this really cool thing. And yes, you talk about the larger events. I mean, I played at the world's largest X-Wing event. There was 500 people when I went and played at Birmingham for the System Open this year. And that's the thing, you end up meeting, I know a lot of people who play, I know a lot of people who went to the World Championships. I've made a lot of friends out. I went out to Stockholm for my birthday on holiday to play X-Wing in a regional championship, and I had a blast. So yeah, it is a good thing, and yeah, I really enjoy it. And yeah, some of the models are fantastic. They really are.
So yeah, I think we're almost done with our show for today. I know Phil, before he went on this, asked me to think of something to talk around the Cantina talk. We were going to have, obviously, George was meant to be here, and he was at Legoland Star Wars weekend this weekend, so he was going to be talking about that. Obviously, he is currently on a train somewhere, just dotting around, having a sandwich maybe. But yeah, so he's not obviously going to make tonight. But yeah, so Phil just asked if anything we could really talk about, and something I was just sticking on games, and I think what I just thought we'd talk about tonight is our thoughts and memories of Star Wars games, and not the X-Wing games, but I'm going back to console games, really, or PC games, and what would be maybe what's your favorite or memories of favorite games?
That's an easy one, I have to admit. My favorite Star Wars game growing up, there's 2 that I played concurrently that I absolutely adored. One was X-Wing Rogue Squadron, Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Fantastic game. I absolutely adored that playing that game. I have so many great memories of that. The other one is Shadows of the Empire. So you're playing Dash Rendar in this kind of Han Solo-esque style game with his own robot Lebo, which has now kind of been transferred into L337-ish in Solo. But that game was fantastic. I mean, I've got it on my laptop actually. I've got it on from Steam. I'm struggling with it, funny enough, just playing on the ATST. It's a pain, just like a massive pain, that machine. But I love that. I loved it when you're on the train against IG-88, and I loved playing as a snowspeeder when you had to literally go out there and wrap around the legs of the AT-ATs and like do proper half. And it was just these really cool missions how you set the Wampers loose. And yeah, again, for Rogue Squadron, when you're playing as an X-Wing, that was what I loved, playing as an X-Wing, pretending to be Luke. So yeah, for me, growing up, these were from the N64, by the way, when I was growing up. I got it on my laptop now for the Empire, and I have a lot of my favorite games. In fact, actually, another of my favorite games was growing up was Jedi Academy. I don't know if you've ever played Jedi Academy, one of the old Jedi Academy games, but my God, that was fun.
There's some of the games that have come out, and I say you're absolutely right. I mean, for me, Dark Forces, when that first came out,
I actually have that on my laptop as well.
Yeah, and the era of Doom, when that was out, and you were like, oh, this is cool. And then people did mods where you'd have Star Wars characters in it, for it then to come out and be like, oh, this is just, it's great. And it kind of started where Rogue One kind of took off. You stole the Death Star plans, and that was such a good game. And you're right, you can get things like that on Steam now. I know Xbox released just this month gone a package of old games. So Jedi Starfighter came out, and Knights of the Old Republic. I know Wayne's just commented on here. Wayne Green from World of Wayne, his channel's awesome. Go check it out if you get a chance. That Old Republic, anything in that was always cool.
I love Knights of the Old Republic 2. I love playing that. That game.
Just games you get lost in.
I mean, for example, on my laptop right now, I have Shadows of the Empire. I have so I have Shadows of the Empire, Mysteries of the Sith, Jedi Outcast, Jedi Knight Academy. I have Dark Forces 2, the original Battlefront 2. I have Battlefront 2. I then have Lego Star Wars: The Clone Wars, Force Unleashed 2. And that's literally everything I can just see on my desktop. That's not even counting what I have on my PlayStation 3. You know, I have 14 Star Wars games on my laptop alone. So growing up, gaming a big part of my life. Gaming with friends. I had the N64. That was my childhood console. You're talking GoldenEye, Mario Kart, and Dark Forces and Rogue Squadron was my childhood growing up. And to have Dark Forces now, it's just, I love it.
I loved Rogue Squadron because you couldn't really deviate from the path they want to take you on, but you still felt like you're in this open world game.
Yeah.
Somehow it felt massive, but you could not go anywhere.
No, it was so strange. And now I must admit, I've replayed Battlefront 2's campaign mode very recently. I put it on the hardest mode possible, and still found it easy, I must admit. And every time I went into the Starfighter mode, I literally put it in the cockpit mode because it reminded me so much of those old Rogue Squadron games. So I just put it in the cockpit and go, okay, I now am an X-Wing, I am now Luke Skywalker, I am Wedge, I am Biggs. You know, it's that kind of. And I mean, I remember, of course, the first time you do it, it's here's Beggar's Canyon. Have fun with that, and it's just these memories, of course, the original Death Star, French Run, and yeah, I love it. So again, I think it's probably why I ended up playing Star Wars X-Wing. It's like, cool, I now can play X-Wings. So for me, growing up, that's my childhood growing up. And then again, of course, Jedi Academy was this great game. It's a sequel to Jedi Outcast. It was this look beyond Episode 6, so Luke setting up his Jedi Academy, which foreshadowed what happened in Episode 8, I must admit, in 7 and 8. So it kind of had these little bits going forward. And of course, I have Prince Xizor in the figure from Shadows of the Empire. And of course, the Valine, that race, was then implemented from that into the Clone Wars. And the ship, the Outrider, which is the YT-2400, was implemented in Rebels in Iron Squadron. So all these great things from these great games growing up have been implemented going forward.
It's been great. I mean, certainly I know I played all these games on my Xbox, as Xbox One, right? Old games. I mean, I had my old Atari that I had X-Wing versus TIE Fighter on, which was so many floppy disks that you didn't know what to do. You had to change them halfway through a level, and it was craziness. But I mean, going to that as well, I don't know if you ever went to the arcades and played games there. There was always this, my friend Ian and Will, we used to always get together and we'd go to an arcade and just put money at the Star Wars arcade machine, where you'd get through the levels and then you'd fight Darth Vader and you fight Boba Fett, and it's just left and right movements to deflect blasts.
I remember that, but for me it was the original Death Star Trench Run. They had that up and running when I was growing up in the arcades. Whenever I had gone to an arcade or went to like Laser Quest, like they had an arcade machine, that's what I always gravitate to. It is one of those odd things that a film franchise, they license out these games, but some of them really create these universes that you just get lost in. Yeah, part of it is the nostalgia of Star Wars putting you into it. Some they do create these really good storylines, and I remember playing Knights of the Republic on Xbox, the original Xbox, and I remember playing Knights of the Republic 2, and I was playing the first one with my friends, and I had Knights of the Republic 2 on my PC, and that's 5 discs. You can now get Knights of the Republic on your mobile phone. It's on the App Store. I think it's on the Google Play Store, so I think you get Android as well, but I know it's on iOS. So you can now get Knights of the Republic on your phone. Hey, if you don't have that, there's a little tidbit for you. Go and get Knights of the Republic. You can properly play it. It's amazing.
It's come so far where these games still, now I say, right, you can fit a game in your pocket, which is great, and you can take that Star Wars universe with you, and you can play older games. And I think the more the phones get better, we're going to have more generations of like emulation of the older games on these phones. I'm surprised, to be honest, that we don't have now. I mean, you can get things like the Retro Pies where you can have all kinds of these games. That'll eventually be on your mobile. You'll be able to play all those same emulations, and I can't wait for that to happen. There's some great games that have been out there in our past. And yeah, that was really our Cantina talk, just to round up the episode for tonight.
The actual proper original Knights of the Republic, that's the old PC menu, and you can get that on your phone. I mean, it's crazy considering it says Knights of the Republic 2 took like 4 or 5 discs.
Yeah.
And now you can get the full unadulterated game on your phone. That's how far mobile technology has come. And yes, so I've got 14 games on my laptop alone. It's that kind of. I would have thought, so yes, there's a good little suggestion there, man.
Thanks, man. That just came to me. But yes, I think that's really us kind of done with our episode for this. Well, this week, because we would normally have an episode in 2 weeks' time. But as I say, Phil covered this earlier. I'll let him go from there.
Yeah, now, Dave and I, this time next week, I will be on my way to Southampton, if not already having dinner. Dave, you'll be probably out having dinner yourself, in Newcastle or Sunderland, having your dinner. I'll be having mine, getting ready for the film. George is saying on the day of release, he hasn't gone midnight screening, as we discussed. Now, Dave is busy on a Tuesday night. I should still be free on that Tuesday night. I'm now do something next week, so it's fine. But so yeah, for the Tuesday potentially, George and I will jump on to a preview video. As it stands, we'll most likely jump on to a spoiler-free review on the Thursday on the day of release, and then either the following week or the week after, in place of our regular show, we will do a full spoiler review. I think that'll be probably us going forward. We'll watch the space, basically watch our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Watch all our social medias. We'll tell you what we're doing, when we're doing it, and how we're doing it, and what times we're going to do it, and we'll keep you posted from there. Because we will do something, but the three of us need to get together and just discuss our schedules. And yes, so that is us for this evening. Yeah, that is.
Yeah, I just want to put a massive thank you out to Chris, to Matt, to Wayne, who came on and commented on the show I've been talking. Thanks very much for your comments, guys. Really is appreciated that you come and watch us live. Again, just thank you to everyone who is coming on board the channel and liking and subscribing. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. This is on YouTube. On our Facebook, we're trying to get as much information up on there as possible, trying to push that. Our Instagram's growing by the day as well, a few extra people on there. So we're really starting to get the word out about our channel, and really, really appreciative of everybody who takes time to stop by.
Indeed, yes. So yeah, thank you as per usual for joining us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We've wanted the force, and I thought it would be with you. Good night.